it do? What's good with y'all, man? Welcome to another episode of Talking Shit. Episode 60. Bit 60. Bit 60, man. You feel me? Bit 60. I gotta say it like my niggas down south. Bit 60. Nah, man. What's up with y'all though, man? You already know, man, I'm back. Uh Thank y'all for tuning in. I don't know, some of my people might be popping in, they might not. Ain't no telling, but you already know how we gonna do. We gonna let it ride. Y'all are free to pop in whenever y'all want. Shit. With that being said, let's get it started. We got a breaking news update in the Shanquilla Robinson investigation. We're gonna get to that. I definitely want to hear about that. Y'all know that we try to keep bringing y'all things, and we always say we coming back. So I almost asked production, what's it about? Cause I'm so eager. So let's roll, man. Let's get it. Watch this. Shout out to my nigga in the blinds, man. I be seeing you, man. That shit funny as hell. All right, let's go.
Robinson case, a signal for a setback for her family. Authorities now say they will not file federal charges in the case.
Oh my God.
The 25-year-old from Charlotte died last year while on vacation in Mexico. Her death has been shrouded by mystery, and a now viral video shows her being beaten prior to her death. Queen City News anchor Derek Dellinger is live in Uptown, where the Robinson family attorney spoke today. And Derek, this is just such a disheartening news for the family that's fought so hard to seek justice.
Yes, they have fought so hard, and simply put, the lawyer for the family told us today that they are disappointed but not deterred. But there's still a way for charges to possibly come in the case. Shanquilla Robinson's family walked into the FBI field office Wednesday hopeful, but about an hour later walked out. There was a sense then that they were not happy with what they heard. Federal authorities saying federal charges would not be filed in her death. It's a blow to a case that has gained national and international attention. Robinson, a young Charlotte woman on vacation in Cabo San Lucas, who reportedly was seen on video being assaulted by someone she knew before she died.
Justice delayed can be justice denied. We all know that and have seen it time and time again.
The family's lawyer, Sue Ann Robinson, spoke with the media after the meeting with federal officials. The U.S. Attorney's Office says they told the family that the evidence they had in the case did not support a federal prosecution. While it is a setback, it does essentially leave one big option open for now, for Mexico to order an extradition hearing. Robinson says that paperwork has been filed, but nothing has happened yet, something she says is frustrating and something that she has seen more than she would like.
When there are black and brown victims of crimes, there is a whole other set of things that have to be done than not.
The family says they are trying to chart a new path in the case. The case, they say, is cut and dry, and they want to know why the justice is not.
There has to be a high level of diplomatic intervention. Heads of state have to talk to heads of state and say, listen, this is what it is, this is what happened, it's on video, we can't have U.S. citizens do, this cannot occur. How are we going to resolve this?
So what is next? There are still some meetings that still need to be taking place in D.C. There also is coming up on May 19th a march to the State Department that's going to be happening in honor of Shanquilla.
That shit is wild.
Now we're live in Uptown.
All them marches
Queen
and
City
shit,
News.
man. Fuck all that shit.
First place.
Fuck all them marches, man.
Xylazine.
My whole thing is, I'm not understanding why the fuck ain't no federal charges being filed. You know what I'm saying? And I guess that's what they trying to find out, or that's what the family on. That's what they talking about. But man, I ain't just walking out like that, man. I'm cool.
It's a deadly, skin-rotting zombie drug that's bringing a horrific wave of overdoses across the country and is spreading further.
That word of warning came today from Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer. It follows similar concerns raised about Xylazine by Hamilton County Coroner Lakshmi Samarco.
This is a veterinary drug in the United States. This is not FDA approved for human consumption. It's meant for horses.
Samarco says on the streets, people probably know the drug by other names.
Trank dope. Zombie drug, that's another street name for it.
Some of that trank.
Kind of what it does.
Dealers are using the sedative that is not an opioid with drugs like fentanyl to stretch their illicit supplies and make more money.
This is being mixed with the street drugs, and it is being mixed with fentanyl. And no, you're not going to be able to recognize it mixed in there. It's powder form. There's
Man,
nothing
man.
that's going to say, oh, wait, it's got a big X on it. It's xylazine. No, you're not going to, it's going to be mixed, and you're not going to recognize it.
Since it's not an opioid, giving a user in distress Narcan won't help. Because of that, and a host of other reasons, Governor Mike DeWine has issued an executive order making xylazine a controlled substance as a Schedule III drug. That puts the horse tranquilizer one rung below drugs like fentanyl, oxycodone, and methamphetamine. Now, Governor DeWine's order makes Ohio one of the first states to list xylazine as a controlled substance. Bipartisan legislation introduced this week in Congress aims to do the same for the entire country. Todd Dykes, WWT News 5.
Todd, thanks so much.
Yo, that shit is motherfucking wild. And I'm telling you, it's only because they kids is being affected by this shit. Back in our day, and we come up, none of this shit was ever done about crack like this. You had Nancy, we had motherfuckers parading around the bushes and all them and shit, parading around talking about dare to keep kids off drugs and this and that, but you ain't had nobody, they calling like all to action like shit. They jumping on this shit like ASAP. This shit right here, corny as fuck for them to be doing that shit like that, man. Anyway, man, let's keep this shit rolling, man. Y'all know how they be doing this.
Jean Ann Thomas Botley has shopped at Family Food Center in Toledo, Ohio since she was 4 years old.
This is the place to be. Once you find something that you love and treat you with respect.
But today, the 58-year-old worries dollar stores are now threatening this local staple.
It's supposed to be a store to help the community, but it's taken from the community.
At the start of 2022, dollar stores together operated more than 34,000 stores nationwide. That's more than McDonald's, Walmart, Target, and Starbucks combined. Right here in Toledo, Ohio, when it comes to dollar stores, there are 1, here's another, 2, and here's another one, number 3. Altogether, over 35. In March, advocacy group the Institute for Local Self-Reliance published a study on the impact of dollar stores on predominantly rural, low-income, Black and Latino neighborhoods. Its findings?
When they come into a community, they tend to just pull just enough of the sales away from that grocery store.
We have to call the suppliers, ask them for prices, ask them for deals, and they don't offer us as good deals as the big chains.
Here you go, ma'am. Thank you.
Now a small community in Toledo, led by senior pastor Donald Perryman, is fighting this effort.
This was the pride of Toledo. It was a community where Black dollars circulated, Black wealth developed, Black professionals were.
And today, what is it like?
Deserted and abandoned.
Perryman hopes Toledo will join the more than 50 cities already enacting laws limiting dollar store expansion. The study also found that as local groceries get squeezed out, neighborhoods are left with food deserts, areas with limited access to affordable, nutritious food.
Even when a Dollar General has fresh produce, it's not a full supply, correct?
Correct. So we have about 16 feet typically in most stores of fresh produce.
Do you think your supply of produce is enough to adequately feed and provide the nutrients communities need?
Well, I think it's really important to remember Dollar General is
another one right down the motherfucking street.
We are here to be able to provide the general necessities that families need on an everyday basis.
In a statement to NBC News, 2 other national dollar chains, Dollar Tree and Family Dollar, said in part, our stores complement grocery stores and bring economic development to communities we enter, including helping to alleviate the effects of food deserts in urban communities. As for Family General Food Center, ESO says the prices are no match for the people.
I know half of my customers by name. When they walk in, I greet them by name. I don't
okay,
think
nigga, drop your punk ass prices, nigga.
Stores.
Because all the time I get emotionally just talking about it because they are family. They are.
What are you thinking about? What are you feeling?
Oh,
Because it's
not
grace
being
in
the
here.
motherfucker right
It's
there.
grace. They let you be yourself.
She ain't supposed to come
Even
on
if you're
TV
going
like
through it.
that, man.
Zinklea Samoa, NBC News, Toledo, Ohio.
Ooh, her edge is gone like a... Oh, man.
Thanks for watching our YouTube channel.
That shit, wow. Hey, but anyway, this nigga need to lower his motherfucking prices because I think his prices might be too big. He trying to get in there and hit them niggas like Whole Foods just because he got some produce. And I don't know, man. I like dollar stores. You got to learn how to shop at them motherfuckers. You know what I'm saying? You gotta learn how to jig that shit. Cause you can't just, you know what I mean? You can't just go in there trying to get everything you need. You gotta get some shit from the motherfucking grocery store, some shit from the dollar store. If you know how to shop, you know how to do that shit. The dollar store come in handy. I don't give a fuck what they say. I don't fuck what they talking about. Anyway, man, let's move on to this little joint right here, man. Massive fire just happened like last night, y'all. Some more toxic smoke and all this shit, man. This shit is getting out of hand up here with all this toxic shit being released. I don't know, man. I might have to go back out west, man. It's crazy. At least they ain't cracking shit every day. Every day they cracking some kind of toxic camera on this bitch, man.
At a recycling plant in Indiana, sending toxic smoke into the air, forcing thousands out of their homes. Alex Brachet has the latest.
This morning, more than 2,000 residents in Wayne County, Indiana, ordered to evacuate after this fire erupted, spilling a toxic plume into the sky.
The smoke is definitely toxic. If there's a lot of smoke, they need to get out of it.
The fire began Tuesday afternoon. Officials believe a tractor trailer caught fire nearby. The flames spreading to this recycling facility 70 miles outside of Indianapolis. The town's fire chief saying the flames were feeding off of unknown types of plastics.
Once the fire got out of control and darkened down on us, we backed out real quick and then went to a defensive mode.
The blaze so big it could be seen on these satellite images from the National Weather Service. The flames sending nearby residents sprinting to shelter.
So many of us were outside looking at this spectacle. We had a tornado warning a few weeks ago, and so this looked just as scary as probably seeing a tornado approaching.
The town ordering evacuations within a half mile.
We won't know whether the residents can come back in until after we do the air quality testing.
Crews working into the night, gaining containment, but concern growing over the long-term impact.
The health effects of these disasters can be tremendous.
While no injuries have been reported, officials this morning are frustrated by what some have told us was a lack of upkeep at the facility. The fire chief saying we knew it wasn't a matter of if, it was a matter of when this was going to happen. The state already on edge over receiving hazardous shipments of toxic waste from February's Norfolk Southern train derailment in Ohio.
And this town, which is just over the border with Ohio, is rallying around its first responders. Pallets of water, Gatorade. There was a local company that donated biscuits and gravy to the firefighters here. But as the sun was coming up, we got a chance to see what they're up against. That huge wall of smoke there in the distance, that is the fire. Still a lot of work left to do here, Michael.
Yeah, big challenge there, Alex. Thank you so much for that.
You gonna grow a
Well, hey there, GMA fans. Robin Roberts here. Thanks for checking
with that shit. They knew what they was doing. They sent you on assignment, nigga. You gotta pick your assignments better, dog. You gotta tell them niggas you ain't going out there for that shit. You gotta be like dude back in the day. What the fuck got me in this country ass town? This bullshit.
This is WFAA News.
Welcome back to New Day on this Tuesday. I'm Megan Mitchell with
All right, what is
News
this
of the Day. And we start with the controversy over Governor Greg Abbott vowing to pardon a man convicted of killing a Black Lives Matter protester. There's a hearing underway right now. It's set to have a sentencing date for that Army sergeant. John Quinones has the latest.
Daniel Perry was convicted of murder last Friday in the fatal shooting of 28-year-old Garrett Foster. This morning, a date for his sentencing will be set, and he could face life in prison. But now, all eyes are on Texas Governor Greg Abbott, who has signaled a possible pardoning under state law. Posting on Twitter, "I have made that request and instructed the board to expedite its review. I look forward to approving the board's pardon recommendation as soon as it hits my desk." The Texas Board of Pardons and Paroles responding, saying they will be commencing that investigation immediately.
The governor's announcement undermines the rule of law here in the state of Texas, and I think undermines our public safety. What the governor said is that the people don't matter and their voices don't matter.
Someone got shot! In July 2020, the white 12-year military veteran was driving for a ride-share company when he pulled up to a street with a crowd protesting the police killing of George Floyd. Police say that's when Foster, also white and an Air Force veteran, approached Perry's car while carrying an AK-47 type rifle, which is legal in Texas. Foster was then shot by Perry multiple times with a handgun Foster legally owned.
Someone got shot.
With Texas having one of the strongest stand-your-ground laws for self-defense, attorneys for Perry say he had no choice but to shoot Foster for his own protection. But prosecutors say Perry could have fled the scene instead.
At the sentencing hearing, the judge will have the opportunity to hear from the family member of the victims in this case, to hear about the impact of this crime on them.
Meanwhile, Perry's attorney telling ABC News many people have reached out to express a desire to speak on Daniel's behalf. The pardon process, however, is outside our control.
The Board of Appeals should understand that there's a process and that this premature at this juncture to say, let's consider pardoning somebody when they haven't even yet been sentenced.
Foster's family speaking out saying they just want justice for Garrett.
It's been 2.5 years since my son's death, and we finally got some semblance of justice on Friday. And less than 24 hours later, it was just, the rug was pulled out from underneath me.
I knew she was going to say
and
that.
I'm right back here where I was immediately after my son's death.
At his sentencing, Daniel Perry could well receive life in prison. But as we said, all that can be negated if the parole board does what Governor Abbott wants them to do and is urging them to do, issue that pardon. It would be highly unusual, but the governor has a lot of power over
My
this
Texas
process.
folks, man.
He appoints every one of those board members.
What's going on
He
out
can
there,
easily
man?
Fire them. John Quinones,
Y'all
ABC
know how it
News,
is. That's how
Dallas.
Texas is, man. Them motherfuckers
How much
crazy.
more do you think anybody can freaking take?
Moving on
Shut your
to my
mouth.
girl.
I don't want to hear another word out of your mouth.
We have more reaction tonight, positive and negative,
Hey,
to that video of an
matter of fact, it's
Amherst bus
snack time,
driver
man.
yelling
Y'all
at
know,
students
Easter just came
after
up, man.
she
What y'all
says she
snacking
reached her
on, man? I got
breaking
these
point.
Though not
sour
everyone supports her
watermelon
actions,
peeps, man.
many
You know,
continue to
fuck
stand
with
by
peeps,
her,
man.
now raising more than $100,000 for her retirement. Our Bree Buckley has been following this from the start and has the latest.
My foot's gonna be so far up your it's gonna dangle out your nose.
It's the saying that's now on a t-shirt after this video went viral, showing now resigned Amherst bus driver Jackie Miller losing her cool after she says she was fed up with a few disrespectful kids on her bus.
Sick of you.
The story went national.
Sick of
Mistakes on the Lake Apparel Company in Vermilion, selling more than 5,000 t-shirts so far, with $5 of proceeds going back to Jackie. And now the GoFundMe has raised over $108,000.
I heard that.
I'm nobody, you know, I'm just a little old granny bus driver. And these people doing this for me is amazing.
Send out thank yous to all these
she
people.
need that.
Jeff Grobe from Vermilion created the fundraiser on her behalf. The two started as
definitely need
strangers.
We've had some problems on our bus with our own little kids who are only 7 and 8. So I just saw this as an
Buses
opportunity
is crazy,
to bring
y'all.
light to the bigger problem.
Many supporters donating to her cause, saying they understand her frustration and would have done the same.
Every day you see horrible things. And something like this happens, and it just restores your faith that there's so many wonderful people out there.
But not everyone agrees with her choice words and behavior. This person on Facebook saying they're glad this completely unfit medically and mentally person is no longer employed with the district. Another person on Twitter calling the video a violent attack on kids.
Oh, I don't agree with the language I use either. I really do regret that. I really do, but like I said before, I won't take a word of it back.
As she's hopeful
Right.
this whole
Stand your
incident
ground, Granny.
continues to spark dialogue for meaningful change.
I hope, I pray that that's the message, that parents will stand up and say, okay, this has to stop. I have to change the way I'm working with my kids.
Right. Thank
and
you.
teach them something different. Teach
Thank
them
you.
how to respect. Teach
Thank
them,
you.
give them this moral compass so they can become responsible adults.
Jackie says she plans to save most of that money for her retirement, but is going to use some of it to travel as well because her and her husband weren't able to take many vacations over the years. Reporting in the newsroom,
Giving all her life to dry them kids and y'all badass kids cussing this
And
old
13
ass
News Now
lady
at 6
out.
begins with
And you
breaking
motherfuckers
development.
want to sit up here and protest and write nasty shit on Twitter. The motherfuckers who writing that shit on Twitter, number one, I guarantee they ain't got kids. For two, if they got kids, they blind to the fact. They probably sitting there letting their kids just look at screens all motherfucking day. They ain't really raising their kids. They the motherfuckers' kids who on that bitch disrespecting old people and shit. And I bet you that shit. And that's real shit. Like, ain't no way you supposed to let your kid behave like that, or your kid supposed to be able to behave like that and not respect no elders, man. Like, not respect anybody that's in authority. Like, you driving the bus, like, that shit, that already ain't got no seatbelts. if you mess with the bus driver and fuck her off her game, she could wreck and all y'all motherfuckers be dead. Kids just be doing some stupid ass shit, man. For real. And y'all motherfuckers know y'all kids bad, man. Y'all ought to be ashamed of writing that stupid ass shit on Twitter, man. Y'all motherfuckers low lives, man. Anyway, moving on. Let's go.
Elements out of Newport News. 25-year-old Deja Taylor is the first person charged in connection to the shooting at Rich Neck Elementary School back on January 6th.
Taylor is the mother of the 6-year-old boy who police say shot his teacher, Abby Zwerner. Taylor now faces felony child neglect and a misdemeanor charge. Ann Sparacco is live in Newport News for us tonight with details on the indictment. And Ann, we're getting a lot of new information tonight.
And this is what happens.
David, Janet, yeah, this is a big development, 3 months in the making, with so many people nationwide just asking the question, who will be held responsible in this case? In addition to the 6-year-old's mother, we are now learning more people could possibly be charged in this case. It's an unprecedented case watched nationwide, and months into the investigation, we're learning more about who prosecutors are holding responsible. More than 3 months after Newport News police say a 6-year-old boy shot his teacher, Abby Zwerner, inside Rich Neck Elementary School, a grand jury formally charged the boy's mother, 25-year-old Deja Taylor. Newport News Commonwealth's attorney Howard Gwynn says Taylor now faces charges of felony child neglect and recklessly leaving a loaded gun, endangering a child, after Newport News investigators say the boy took her 9mm handgun and brought it to school in early January. Gwynn told 13 News Now his investigation showed the law does not support charging the child with aggravated assault, but he says this isn't the end to his investigation. Gwynn is asking the court to appoint a special grand jury to look into security issues within the school that may have contributed to this incident. A spokeswoman for the school division confirmed the elementary school did not have metal detectors and a school security officer was not on scene at the time of the shooting. Gwynn says depending on the special grand jury's further investigation, more people, including Taylor, may face additional charges if the law supports it. In response to this latest development, Abby Zwerner's attorney Diane Toscano sent us a statement saying, in part, today's announcement addresses but one of those failures. Our lawsuit makes clear that we believe the school division violated state law and we are pursuing this in civil court. We will not allow school leaders to escape accountability for their role in this tragedy. And Abby Zwerner's attorneys filed a lawsuit for $40 million in court last week. In that lawsuit, her attorneys claimed that school administrators ignored vital warnings from school employees that the boy had a gun on him at school the day of the shooting. Now, the attorney representing the now former principal of the school says they plan to file a countersuit. The assistant principal of the elementary school has since resigned from her position. Reporting live in Newport News, I'm Ann Sparacco for 13 News Now.
Deja Taylor's attorney, James Ellenson, the Commonwealth's attorney, for sharing the news of the indictment. He said Taylor will turn herself in later this week.
Man, my whole thing is I think the boy need to be charged too, some kind of way. I don't think the mom should be charged. I mean, I guess I get it, but I don't know. Like, that's a hard thing to unpack, man. We might need to do a little impromptu on that. But I definitely think the boy need to learn something, because if he don't know about the criminal justice system, he gonna learn today. Or he need to learn today, because that shit is uncalled for, what he did. That shit's whack.
You're not hitting me, bro. Come on, bro. Get out right now. Go. Girl, what is he trying to hit out for?
Ooh.
Yeah, let's put the pictures up. You see these two young men, exceptional individuals. Okay, let me tell you why. One decided to not even engage in defending himself. He utilized evasive moves. Not required to. His constitutionally protected right gives him the right of self-defense immediately. Okay, but he decided to try to be a pacifist. Good young man there. The second young man, seeing an attack on another person, his colleague, their lifeguards, he gets involved because he's a good young man too. And when he gets involved trying to de-escalate, the violent thug that you see with the bald spot in the back of his head, he decides to take his anger on the individual, attempted to de-escalate, take his anger out on him, and proceeds to hit him twice before he is then struck one time to stop the attack, and that is it. You do know if police officers acted in such a way, we would have very little complaint. You have one person literally trying to get away, you have another person trying to de-escalate, and all he does is use reasonable force to stop the aggression of the attacker.
That's funny as hell.
Fine young men, indeed. Mr. Mayor, do you see this any differently?
Not at all. I think what we witnessed was we supposed to be a society that's against bullying. We watched this man try to bully these teenagers, probably working on spring break or on their summer break. Watch this man bully them, and then, like you said, he attacked the second young man twice. And the response is exactly what he deserved. I think when you react that way, I am not a pacifist. I don't want people to think that I'm advocating for violence, but I'm going to meet you the way you show up to me. And I think that young man, the second young man, had an obligation as a lifeguard to protect his other lifeguard. I mean, you have this gentleman backing up while this other person is going forward, and I see him getting closer and closer to the edge of the pool, and I'm like, is he gonna fall in and hit his head trying to run from this this man attacking him, this thug attacking him? So I appreciate what I just witnessed, and like I think what you said is spot on. If we had police officers with this much self-restraint and control, we have a lot more Black people living.
That's right. Let's put the pictures up one more time. I want to make a recommendation to the company that employs you gentlemen. I would like to see one of you named Employee of the Month for this month.
Oh, sweet.
And the other one named Employee of the Month for next month. All right. Hopefully my word carries some weight with your boss. Imagine getting into an accident.
Sweet.
People are dead. You survived. You're in the hospital, but the firefighter stole your money. Your money. When people are dead, put up the picture of this young brother.
Wow.
It's a damn shame. St. Louis
Look like
teenager
Sway Lee.
Stephen Robinson Laney was involved in the car crash on the 26th of February that claimed the lives of 4 people. 4 people died. 8 were in the vehicle. It was a Chevy Tahoe. The accident occurred at approximately 1:30 a.m. This was on Forest Park Avenue. We're talking about St. Louis. After a driver later identified as a 34-year-old Cedric Dixon ran a red light, hit the SUV, Robinson Laney was riding in that day, sending it over the guardrail. It flipped. It's a bad accident. People died. It's a tragedy. The impact killed a 19-year-old named Anthony Robinson.
Wow.
Another 19-year-old named Richard Boyd. An 18-year-old named Brianna Dittman Johnson, and a 20-year-old named Contrail McKinley. Here is Contrail McKinley, fatal victim and Stephen's big brother. Those who survived were actually still trapped inside of the vehicle.
Wow.
Robinson Laney said he was able to pull himself from the wreckage, and as he lay on the ground, a firefighter at the scene asked him if he had any identification. The firefighter is asking the teenager, do you have identification? The teen pulled out his wallet, gave it to the man who he thought at the time was a police officer. I lost a lot of blood. My vision was blurred. And I said, man, I don't even know your name. He told the St. Louis Post-Dispatch. And he just told me not to worry, saying, you're good, you're good. However, Stephen was not in good condition, and victims received no assistance from bystanders. Courtney and Contrail McKinley's mother also accused the first responders of neglecting the victims of the crash because they saw a firearm in the SUV. They had to walk themselves to the EMS. She said broken bones, broken spine, broken ribs, collapsed lungs, broke back. They had to walk. It took civilians to help them. Finally receiving medical care, Stephen's battle continued after he was discharged. A few days after he was discharged from the hospital, Robinson Laney discovered someone had been using his debit card. Imagine, your friends are dead, you're severely injured, you get out the hospital, and now you have this additional issue to deal with. Somebody's utilizing your money, all right? The 18-year-old also said that he'd had $600 in cash in his wallet, along with two $50 gift cards that he'd just gotten for his birthday. He never got them back. The charges total $120. One of the charges was for a car wash, but Robinson Laney doesn't even own a vehicle. Definitely wasn't him. Here's the person that stole the wallet, all right? It's a Christmas gift card from his grandma with the etched initials. There's a video from the scene. It captured the firefighter putting Robinson Laney's wallet in his pocket.
Wow.
And the firefighter has been interviewed by the police. The teen and his mother were allowed to view the video and the 4th District Station on North Jefferson Avenue. The firefighter claimed that he used the debit card by mistake. It was an accident.
Yeah, right.
Thinking it was his own because the card was issued by the same credit union as his own debit card.
Man, get the fuck out of here.
That's the excuse.
You know that
the
shit didn't come out your wallet.
After his mother, Miss Robinson, viewed video of her son's money being stolen, she received a bill from the fire department for the ambulance ride. She said, and I quote, "I can't believe someone would use this as an opportunity to steal. That's just horrible," she added. "I just want justice for my son." The investigation is ongoing. We do not have a report of arrests being made, but you have to think about this. Literally, they are able to see the money being stolen. Now, does this mean the firefighter who did it, there is no, once again, not allegedly, firefighter admitted, "I got the card, it was by accident," is his defense.
This
was so insane. You have to imagine this has been done before by the individual who did it. Who would think to walk up to a person bleeding, barely able to talk, to say, "Give me your wallet," knowing the person is discombobulated, confused? Has this firefighter done it before? All right. Okay. AB, insanity here. Thoughts?
Absolutely. So first thing I thought when you said that is he had to have done this before, because as a firefighter, your first thought wasn't to render aid to individuals who you saw were suffering and had just been involved in a car crash, but your first thought was to ask someone for their identification. And you know that that person is in distress. They're not thinking straight, right? Like they're not even thinking about who they are, what their name is. They just want help. If this little boy wasn't Black, I do not think the situation would have went down like that. You knew exactly how you could manipulate this young kid, and you took advantage of that. In addition to that, I don't understand why the firefighter is not in handcuffs, and I hope he is no longer at his job, because you admitted to the crime. Regardless of you saying it was an accident, how did you get access to this boy's money? You had to use a PIN code or bypass a PIN code of some sort in order to use this boy's money and to use his card. So you knew exactly what you were doing. At the end of the day, you shouldn't have had his wallet in your pocket in the first place. So that is theft, and you should be prosecuted for that.
Yeah, because anybody else would easily. All right. And it's not just the card being used. He had cash money and gift cards taken from the scene.
Yeah, and the cash money gone.
Well, how do you explain that, Mr. Firefighter?
Cash money gone. That shit's so crazy, y'all. So y'all already know, man. Production, we did a good job, man. We got to the end of everything. Couple thoughts on this last one. I don't know. I think I agree with AB, man. That firefighter need to be fired, and I really don't always just jump to that conclusion or jump to that lane. But bruh, you admitted to stealing. You said you admitted to stealing. You said I used it, but I thought it was mine. First of all, you know it's not yours. It don't got your name on it. It ain't in the same wallet as your motherfucking card. Like, come on, dude. Like that's just a lame ass excuse. But this is what happens when these young people get these. I don't even know who he. It ain't even young people. It's everybody. These narcissists. These people that think that the world just they can do whatever, and then people just gonna believe whatever they say. I mean, that's what happens. But I hope something happened to this motherfucker, man. I hope he loses his job and all that motherfucking bullshit. But like I say, man, you already know, man. It's the end of the talking shit for this week, man. There's a lot of shit going on. Let me see, man. I know Gallimarfy 2 being worked on, man. Shout out to Ralphie Dredd. And I know y'all see it, man. Let me get my plugs, man. Y'all see the Healing Hyenas, man. The comic shirt, man. I said I was going to grab that shit, man. Y'all go take a spin over to thehealinghyenas.com, man, and go get y'all some merch, man. My dog EB doing this thing, man. He got a brand new podcast out called The Thought Ops. Y'all go check that out. I believe it's on like Facebook and Instagram, man. But like I said, man, y'all go check that shit out, man. They got some good conversations going on there. And like I said, man, we just rolling, man. We just keeping it going. We just keeping it pushing. I know the shows is getting a little bit shorter, but it's strategic, man. Y'all just roll with me. Or just roll with me a little bit, man. I promise, man. But like I say, man, like we always say, man, holler at your folks, man. Call your folks, man. Tell them you love them. Tell somebody you know, hug somebody. You know what I'm saying? Shit. Be a bright spot in somebody's day, man. Y'all spread that motherfucking love around, man, because that's the only way we're going to get through a lot of this shit. So, y'all look out for In My Own Lane. It'll be on the way to you this summer, y'all. I'm not giving out no specific days right now because I'm still working on some things. But it's coming at you, y'all. And don't forget Brick Kings. Episode 2 is finna come out. Episode 1 is out right now on YouTube. Go check that shit out. I'm acting in that shit, man. Shout out to my boy Dez, my boy D Will. Gave me an opportunity to shine my little acting light, man. And I'm in there doing my thing, man. And matter of fact, I might get his permission to do a little watch party, man, with y'all on that, man. So next week we're gonna do that. We're gonna try to get a little watch party. I'm gonna get his permission, man. Get a little watch party. We're gonna set that thing off, man. We're gonna watch episode 1 real quick, y'all. So y'all, like I said, man, thanks for hanging out with me. Peace. Look out for that shit I told y'all to look out for, man.